Hi, this is Eternal King back with another deck tech. Today I want to be talking about a very special card, which is Poro King. So Poro King, one of the new champions that was released, kind of hit the meta with a bit of a flop. But honestly, I think it's because people haven't been trying him in Eternal. People haven't really been seeing what this card can do. And also, again, some cards are just easier to play than others. Evelyn's a very easy champion to understand and to play on curve. Poro King is a high-risk card with a high reward. He's a bit of a snowball late-game win-con. So, but again, I'm going to show you how you can build him with two specific types of decks. I'll show you aggro Poros, and then I'll show you mid-range Poros. So aggro Poro is pretty straightforward. You're going to be leaning heavily into daring Poro. Lonely, of course, because he's basically a 2-for-1 for Poros, and Proto Poro, because he has impact. So in all these cases, these are the highest value Poros. I would not recommend using any other Poros other than these three. These are the best. Elusive, 2-for-1, and impact. That's, in an aggro deck, they're going to be the most value. And one Poro cannon to, again, summon more elusives. Now, because even in an aggro Poro deck, it's not going to be as fast as something like Pirate Aggro. How do we compete with Pirate Aggro? How do we compete with any aggro? Burn aggro, essentially. The answer is pings, once again, and you're going to hear this a lot from me. So yeah, I want to main heavy metal, and I'm going to main Make It Rain. So, yeah, we'll play our 1-drop. If it doesn't get answered, great. Swing into the Nexus, play your Jagged Taskmaster, give everything +1, all your 1-drop Poros, and that's going to feel great. Poro Herder is a free cycle. Poro Stories, again, in aggro Poros, this is like the best card because it's just like 3 1-drops, and those 1-drops are really big, and your opponent has to, basically spend pings or spend, or block into all these 1-drops that you just generated off of a 2-mana card. So it's almost like aggro Poros is a grindy deck in its own way, where you're just swinging and demanding answers from your opponent and trading with Make It Rain and heavy metal and things like that. And of course, Poro Snacks, 3 of, instant 3 of. I like TF because, again, this deck can run out of steam very quickly. So you can red card, you can gold card on block, you can blue card to draw. Zap is a very similar case where it can draw you your Poro Stories, it can draw you your Poro Snacks. That's going to feel great when that happens. Aurora Borealis, because once we've kind of vomited out our hand, we need to refill. And Poro King. So that's like an example of aggro Poros. I don't think this is the best way to build Poros right now, but it is one way, and I found some limited success with it. The other way is mid-range Poros, and this is my preferred method, but it is slower, and slower decks are more punishable in general in LOR. So here we just run Lonely, we run 3 Sisters, because again it slows things down. Inner Beast is again kind of another way of forcing trades, but also it's a high value card because it forces the trade and then it generates you another card. Poro Herder, once again, Patchwork Poro, patched Porobot. Great in mid-range decks because sometimes it rolls Lifesteal or it rolls a really good keyword, and then it gets really big. And so in a mid-range deck, you're going to find Patched Porobot quite a bit. Mighty Poro, once again, kind of a staple of that slower Freljord style of Poro decks. And Braum. So, we're in Eternal. We're going to run Braum in a mid-range Poro deck, 100%. Such a great card. It's just, you get the block, and even if he dies, you get your Poro, and he's done his job. So, and sometimes he gets to do more. Sometimes he gets to steamroll and win the game. Fabled Poro, again, mid-range card, definitely slower, but when you've hit your critical mass of Poros and you're kind of big 6-wide board, you've slowly accumulated that value. Now you get to roll and see what keywords you get, and that'll allow you to push for damage. Aurora Borealis, again, harsh winds, and essential in those kind of slower Poro decks because, again, you need to not die. So harsh winds is going to be very important there. Poro Sled, it's kind of a 2-for-1 card, but it's on the higher end of that mana scale where it summons a 1-cost Poro, which, on average would be a 3-3 on swing. And then that means your Poro Sled will, on average, be an 8-8. So, good card. And then, once again, Poro King. So, this is, of course, the Eternal King signing out. I do recommend giving Poro King a shot in Eternal, if you can. I think he's a really cool card, a very well-designed card. But I won't pretend that either of these decks are the most competitive thing in the world. I found some success with the mid-range version, I found some success with the aggro version, but at the end of the day, I think it's just like one of those cases where you'll play a few games with each and then kind of move on to something more stable and competitive.